everyone, this is Friedel Hugger AJ and I'm here with my recap and review of Digimon Ghost Game, the anime, season number 1, episode number 10, which is titled The Game of Death. And this was a very enjoyable episode for me because I am a fan of Kiyoshiro and Jellymon, and in this episode number 10, they ended up unlocking Jellymon's Digi-evolution, which is called Tesla Jellymon. Now, again, I still have issues with this anime because we aren't necessarily getting a whole lot of information about the major plot, that what the major narrative thread is going to be. All of these episodes do seem a little random, but anyway, having said that, as I said, I did enjoy this episode because, yeah, Jellymon got a Digi-evolution, and I do think that the entire evolution sequence and what led up to it made sense. So this episode opens up with this random kid playing a game which is titled Fighter Battles, Battle of the Fighters or something. I don't necessarily remember, but apparently it turns out that if you continue to win games and if you continue to win 20 matches in a streak in one single go, a Digimon ends up appearing, and this Digimon is known as King Kakumon. And King Kakumon is a Digimon who is looking for a formidable opponent to fight. And when you go through the 20 win streak, King Kakumon appears in front of you and then ends up KOing you with only one move. So yeah, this is King Kakumon. And we do get to learn about her brother also being here, called Ginkakumon. And yeah, it also reminded me of those twins from the Naruto franchise. Especially because one of those twins were also using the Sage of Six Paths weapons, which included a gourd, and another weapon was related to a word you were supposed to say, or it was linked to a word. I don't want to get too much into it, but yeah, it reminded me of those twins from the Naruto franchise. But anyway, Ginkakumon and Kinkakumon are here, so after Kinkakumon defeats your player, they directly speak to the person who is controlling the character in the game, and they're like, what is your name? And the person tells them their name. And yeah, apparently Ginkakumon and Ginkakumon, oh, the names, Ginkakumon and Kinkakumon are collecting the souls of the players because, yeah, Ginkakumon is using the souls in order to create more booze, which, I mean, that's dark. That's dark. Basically, fermenting human beings in order to drink them later. Wow. So, yeah, a whole bunch of kids who were playing this game and who went through a continuous 20 match win streak, they do end up getting kidnapped. So it's the next day, and we get to see Hiro spending time with Nomaru. And yeah, Nomaru is telling Hiro about this new game, and that if you end up going on a winning streak, a beautiful character cuts into the game, and then you get to fight her. And of course, Nomaru, considering the type of character that he is, he's very excited to see this beautiful character that's being rumored. And Hiro is like, you know what, I'm not really interested in all of that. So Kyoshiro overhears them talking about, and Kyoshiro is like, you know what, you two are in the dorm, you shouldn't be talking about these things. And Hiro is like, hey, we were just talking about a video game, have you heard about it? And yeah, Kyoshiro is he's very nervous about the question that Hiro just asked. And this is where Jellymon comes in, and Jellymon is like, yeah, Kyoshiro is a very good gamer. He was actually doing well in the game, but then he heard about the rumor and he backed off. And he was like, hey, tell me more about this rumor. So while these two are talking about the rumor that if you go through a win streak, a beautiful character appears, and that beautiful character ends up defeating your character, and then a whole bunch of kids end up randomly getting disappearing in something. And of course, Hiro is very interested in everything that's happening. So Kyoshiro is like, hey Hiro, you don't play this game for by any chance, right? And Hiro's like, yeah, I don't play it, however Nomaru plays it. And this is where they're like, oh no, Nomaru's in trouble. So it turns out that Nomaru is apparently very good at this game. He went through a winning streak, and Kinkaku appears on the screen, and Nomaru's face during this scene, he's so excited to see her. But of course, this means something bad for Nomaru, and he does end up getting kidnapped. And Kyoshiro and Hiro are trying to get into Nomaru's room, and this is a scene where we get to see Kyoshiro's bandaged hand, and this bandaged hand is mentioned near the end of the episode as well, which I'll get to in a bit. So Kyoshiro is trying to he places the hand on the scanner. Of course, it doesn't read, and he tries to remember the key code to Nomaru's room. and Hiro is trying the door. And as they're trying to get in, this is where they hear Kinkaku's voice as well as Ginkaku's voice asking about Numaru's name and that they are here to collect their spoils. And yeah, Nomaru screams. And while that's happening, Gomamon is able to use his Digimon powers in order to unlock the door from the inside. They go in, and this is where Hiro and Kyoshiro actually see Nomaru being sucked into the computer screen. And of course, because Nomaru is Hiro's friend, he wants to help him, get him back. And yeah, this is all too much for Kyoshiro. And we get a scene where Kyoshiro is like in integer overload, integer overload. He keeps on saying the same word and then he faints. And Hiro's like, wait, what's Kyoshiro talking about? What's integer overflow? And this is where Jellymon is like, well, basically integer overflow is the name that I gave to Kyoshiro's behavior, and it's basically an overload of everything scary on his psyche. And when he reaches that point, he basically faints. However, I do think that this is the the limit break, and if I'm able to trigger him after this overload, then something good is going to happen. And Jellymon does try to do that, but that doesn't. But nothing happens. And this is also where we get to see what Ruli is up to. So Ruli, because she can't be in the boys' dorm room, she's basically in her room and she's talking to Hiro over the phone. And this is where they get a message from Professor Betelgamon, and it turns out that Professor Betelgamon ended up moving in quite near to Hiro's dorm room. It's a library because Betelgamon ended up reading all of the books in the previous library, and I'm like, okay, so if Betelgamon and Bakuman are here, is Clockmon supposed to be here as well? Because Betelgamon was supposed to train Clockmon when it comes to the different phases, or the states that Digimon can use while they're in the human world. So I'm interested in learning where Clockmon is. So this is where to talk to Betelgamon about what's happening with the people being kidnapped and they're playing this video game. And how they heard a feminine voice and a masculine voice from inside Nomaru's room. And this is where Bakumon is like, well, you know what? I guess this is the work of Kinkakumon and Shinkakumon and Kinkakumon and Ginkakumon. And they're like, how do you know? And Bakumon is like, yeah, I ended up running into them while I was trying to find something to eat. And yeah, Kinkakumon and Ginkakumon are very, very interested in finding very powerful players because Kinkakumon is all about that fighting spirit. And this is where Angoramon's the one who tells them that, you know what, I guess that the kids that have been abducted, they have been placed into Ginkakumon's gourd and they're fermenting because Ginkakumon wants to make them into brews so that he can drink it. And Hiro's like, oh, that's bad, that's very, very bad. And they're like, so how are we supposed to stop those two? And yeah, this is where Hiro's like, you know what, Kyoshiro, you are our only hope, you have to do this. And Kyoshiro like, me, I have to do this? But yeah, the kids have no other choice. Kyoshiro has to go and defeat King Kakumon. So yeah, the anime actually showed us a whole bunch of children, or maybe young adults, basically anyone who played the game and went through the streak and got defeated by King Kakumon. They are fermenting and becoming to alcohol, which again, this is a very dark thing to show in a kid-centric anime, and I'm here for it. So Kyoshiro is like, you know what, I'm really unsure. I don't think that I can do this. And this is where Jellymon gives him a pep talk. And Jellymon is like, you are the dorm leader. You're the one who has to lead all of the students. You can do this. I believe in you. And Kyoshiro is like, okay, let's do this. So Kyoshiro starts playing the game and he's very good at this game. He's able to get the 20 mark win streak quite quickly. And this is where King Kakumon appears, and Kakumon is like, okay, Kyoshiro, are you ready to fight me? And Jellymon is like, wait a minute. And she ends up using one of her tentacles and inserts it into the USB ports. And it turns out that, yeah, Jellymon ends up replacing the character that Kyoshiro was playing with in the game with herself. And yeah, Kyoshiro is going to control Jellymon as she fights King Kakumon. And Jellymon is like, you know what? I'm the number one fighter here, so of course I'm going to fight you, King Kakumon. And this is where we also get to see that King Kakumon is the one that's controlling King Kakumon. So yeah, it's time for these two to fight, and it's a very good fight. At first, it feels like Jellymon is going to lose because King Kakumon is a champion level Digimon, and King Kakumon is like, okay, I expected more from you, but yeah, I guess I have to defeat you right now. And Jellymon is like, not so fast. So Jellymon gets up, and it turns out it was all part of Kyoshiro's plan because Kyoshiro wanted to learn all of King Kaku's moves and her range and everything. And now that he knows that, he's able to go on a counter. And the fight is very, very good. It's not the most well choreographed fight, but when it comes to Digimon fights, it's serviceable. So yeah, Jellymon is able to keep up with the champion level Ginkakumon, and Ginkakumon doesn't like that, and he's like, you know what, I guess I have to do something, and he ends up extending his controller and he adds more buttons in order to give Ginkakumon more moves and even a weapon, and Jellymon is able to counter all of that as well. She's dodging attacks left and right, she's going in with her own attacks, and Hiro and the rest are very, very impressed because it turns out that while they're playing the game, the connection between Kyoshiro and Jellymon has intensified, and yeah, the bond between these two are able to help Jellymon face against a very powerful champion level Digimon. So yeah, again they're fighting, and King Kakumon is getting very excited. She's like, "This is I haven't felt like this in a very long time. My entire body is quivering, and I'm getting excited and all of that stuff." And she's like, "You know what? I want to see the face of the person who's controlling you, Jellymon." And this is where King Kakumon decides to come out of the computer screen in order to face Kyoshiro. And Kyoshiro's like, not so fast." So he ends up activating the his watch, and everyone is transported into the world between the digital world and the human world. And this is where Ginkakumon also comes out, of course. And because Ginkakumon is a very, very gigantic Digimon, even though he is supposed to be, yeah, I don't want to do that. No shortcut to press shift. Yeah, no. So apparently some buttons are being pressed. So yeah, because Gengakumon is a very, very gigantic Digimon, even though he's only a champion level Digimon, Kyoshiro is like, this is too much, I can't fight this humongous Digimon. And he's like, integer overload, integer overload, and he ends up fainting. And Jellymon is like, you know what, I guess this is up to me. Hiro, I'll handle Kinkakumon while you handle the gourd. And Hiro's like, yeah, I can do that. So Jellymon ends up fighting Kinkakumon. And while that's happening, Gamamon digivolves into Betelgamon, and yeah, seeing the Digi-evolution, Ginkakumon is very, very surprised by that because normal Digimon don't necessarily see such level of Digi-evolutions in front of their eyes. And as Jellymon and Ginkakumon are fighting, because Jellymon isn't getting her power from Kyoshiro because he's unconscious right now, she is facing trouble in trying to fight Ginkakumon, and she yells at Kyoshiro. She's like, "You have to wake up, Kyoshiro. You have to. I won't be able to defeat King Kakumon on my own." And while all of that's happening, Agoramon is carrying Ruli to the battlefield. And I'm like, okay, Ruli, get there, girl. So yeah, because Jellymon isn't powerful enough in order to fight a champion level Digimon on her own, because Kyoshiro is unconscious right now, she actually cries for Kyoshiro to get up. She's all teary-eyed. It was a very, very emotional scene, and I was actually surprised to see Jellymon being so emotional. She tries to blackmail him. She's like, "Kyoshiro, if you don't get up, I'm going to punish you. I'm going to throw all of your stuff out of the room. If you don't wake up, I'm also going to tell everyone the secret behind your bandaged hand." But yeah, Kyoshiro is still unconscious, he doesn't wake up, so because Jellymon can't move her entire body, she extends her tentacle in order to touch Kyoshiro. However, Kin Kakumon ends up stepping on a tentacle, and she's like, Jellymon, are you ready to be destroyed? And yeah, Jellymon doesn't give up. Jellymon is like, you have to wake up, Kyoshiro. She extends her other tentacle, and yeah, that reaches Kyoshiro just in time, and she gives him a bolt of electricity to jolt him awake. And yeah, even King Kakumon is surprised. She's like, wait, what just happened? So Kyoshiro wakes up, and because he woke up after the integer overload, it turns out that he has reached his limit break. And his entire demeanor has changed. He isn't scared anymore, because I think that the writers are trying to show that when it comes to a character like Kyoshiro, there's a level. He can only get scared to a certain point, and after that point, his body isn't able to be scared anymore, or his mind, and he's like, you know what, I have to do this. I'm more confident now. I have gotten all of the scares out of my system. So he's very confident, and this is where he is like, Jellymon, are you ready? And Jellymon is like, yeah, I am. And this is where we get the Digievolution, and Jellymon digivolves into Tesla Jellymon, a champion level Digimon with electrical powers. And King Kakumon tries to attack Tesla Jellymon, and she dodges every attack, and she's like, that's not so easy. And she goes in with her attack that Kyoshiro tells her. It's called Silist or Silist or something like that, which is basically, from what I can understand, a very quick electrical punch in the gut. And yeah, that does it for King Kakumon. She's been defeated, and King Kakumon is like, oh no, sister, you've been defeated. So because Tesla Jellymon ended up defeating King Kakumon, they have to respect the agreement that they have, that the winner will take all of the spoils, and the spoils in this situation is getting the souls of everyone out of King Kakumon's gourd. And King Kakumon does that. He's like, at least let me take a single sip, and they're like, no, don't do that. So everyone that was abducted by King Kakumon and King Kakumon end up reappearing in their room, and Nomaru is on his bed, and I'm like, you know what? This is the second time that Nomaru has been attacked. He got attacked by Clockmon. He was in the hospital, and now he got kidnapped. I really think that Nomaru should be someone who ends up learning about Hiro's secret. I wouldn't be against that he ends up learning that Hiro is working, knows about the digital world and everything that's going on. But let's see what the writers decide. And this is where Hiro's like, you know what, Ginkakumon, you don't have to attack other people. And even Professor Bokumon is like, yeah, you don't have to do that. You can actually buy booze in the human world. And Ginkakumon's like, yeah, you can do that. And Hiro's like, you know what, if you guys stop attacking other people in order to make them into booze, I can give you my dad's stash. And King Kakumon is like, yeah, I'm very happy about that. And King Kakumon is like, don't get my intention wrong, okay? I'm in this to fight. So she's like, so Jellymon, will fight again someday, okay? And Jellymon is like, you know what, I'm okay with that. Anytime, sister. And we can fight, and Kyoshiro and I will defeat you again. And Kyoshiro's like, why do you have to drag me into this, huh? And yeah, this is where the episode ends. According to the preview of the next episode, I think we're going to finally see Angoramon getting his Digi-evolution. So that's going to be exciting as well. But yeah, let me know what you thought of this episode. If I end up doing a written review of this for the Geek Theory, the link to that will be down in the comment section below as soon as the review is published. I really enjoyed this episode because, again, I am a fan of Kyoshiro and Jellymon, and even though we don't necessarily got a lot of plot progress, I still liked it. I think that the way Jellymon digivolved, it was handled well, and I'm looking forward to seeing Angoramon digivolve next. Let me know what you thought of the episode down in the comment section below. Oh, and also we know that after you make Kyoshiro scared, after a certain limit, he's going to break his limit and he's going to become more confident. So we know that about his character. That's a new development. So yeah, and again, Jellymon mentioned the secret behind his bandaged hand. So let's see what that's about. And the fact that the writers are keeping it secret, I really hope that it meets expectations when the secret is finally revealed. But yeah, let me know what you have thought of the episode down in the comment section below. And until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed. See you guys later. Bye.